What does catfish mean?
Yeah.
It means like if you're online and you're looking to like date somebody or something and they send you a picture, you're assuming that that's who they are. And then when you try to meet them, they always kind of like, you know, something came up. And then you go to meet them actually, maybe finally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Comes to find out that they might be a guy or a girl.
So they've just been leading you on in some regard.
Yeah,
okay.
Sure. Have you ever been catfished before?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that you're aware of? What if you were catfished by NASA? Would you know it?
I don't know.
Do you believe, just for argument's sake, right? Do you believe that you live here?
On the Earth, yes.
Okay, so when I say Earth, this is what you think of?
Yes.
Okay. What, have you ever seen the Earth from this perspective in outer space?
Well, I've never been to outer space.
Neither have I, right?
Yeah.
So could it be fair to say that you're being catfished by an image?
Maybe not, but there are ways to identify that. Are you saying about whether the Earth is flat or?
That's up to you to decide, right? I didn't say that. You did,
All
right? So, I mean, if you're taking what they're telling us as this being our home, and you've never seen it from this perspective, how do you know?
It's a good theoretical question, or good. No, that's not theoretical.
I'm just, pondering, just we're shooting the yes, right?
Question, yes.
Yeah, so I mean, if I was to say, well, if that's true, then how do you get water to conform to the exterior of a shape, like a ball? And then you would say...
Gravity.
Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though that's never been proven, right? It's still a theory.
Yeah.
It's kind of the best we've come up with, right? But then I'm not disagreeing that there is a 9.8 meters per second, right?
Yeah.
But that's not necessarily why things fall to the ground. There could be a pushing instead of a pulling.
True.
Right? And to continue that thought, which gravity are we really talking about? Newton's or Einsteinian bending of space-time?
To be determined, since we don't know the definition of gravity yet.
Right, exactly. So if I was to present, right, a level, motionless plane that goes on infinitely, just more shorelines, like a lake, could that be possible then?
I'm not so sure, because we can definitively identify that there is a curvature and we can go all the way around, so we can assume that there is some sort of curving or some sort of shape that allows you to get back to your origin.
Okay. So what's this we stuff though? You said we have curvature.
Well, no, humans.
Okay,
we can go around.
Right.
We can start at a point, go in a specific direction, and end up back at the start. Right,
exactly. Just like I could take 3 rights at this block and I could end up where I'm at. Does that mean I'm on a sphere?
Yeah, but you've taken turns.
Exactly. And that's what they're doing when they're circumnavigating the Earth. They're just taking turns on a flat level plane, possibly.
All right.
Just, check it out.
That's all right.
Okay, well, you'll be on YouTube regardless, so have a nice afternoon.
Are you filming me?
I am, yeah. So.
Well, thank you for informing me without my consent.
Well, it's right in front of you, and I'm the one that has to consent here in Minnesota. Could you show me the law where it says I can't film on public property?
No, I can't show you that off the top of my head.
Okay, well, I could. So, have a nice afternoon. Cheers. So check this out. We have Robert giving a presentation tonight, Wednesday, April 3rd at 7 p.m. regarding connecting the life cycles of stars, galaxies, and the universe. We'll definitely be going there. Until then... enjoy. Hey, fellas.
How's it going?
It's a beautiful day on our level, motionless plane.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Yeah. So have you ever talked about flat Earth openly?
No, I've not. I'd love to go.
No? Yeah? Okay. Well, you'll be on YouTube regardless.
All right,
so
go.
Might as well
Hello,
check it out.
YouTube. All right.
So, do you have, 2 proofs that you could share with me so I can come back to the fold of globe Earth? That you live on a spherical ball in outer space?
Oh, yeah.
Because this is kind of awkward, right? I mean, flat Earther, globe Earthers, all over.
You're right.
Maybe you can help me come back.
That's fair. I've been in an airplane before and see the curved horizon.
Okay.
It's pretty...
Could I present something to you that doesn't not necessarily be too conspiratorial? Maybe they're just aerodynamic windows and they just look curved.
Aerodynamic windows. Well, you can have curved windows that don't look curved.
Okay.
That, and I've also been up in planes from the 40s, and unless it's been going on since back then,
Sure, yeah.
still looks curved.
Right, exactly.
I mean, I've been in a hot air balloon and there's no windows there, and it still looks kind of curvy.
Okay, are you familiar with like a fisheye lens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, alright. And do you see any of that going on?
In a hot air balloon?
Yeah, I mean like a high altitude balloon. They're 20 to 25 miles up, so I mean that even just stomps all that, right?
Yeah. I don't
I
think
mean,
I
there's
was
still a
that
level
high,
motion
but-
that's still level in a flat horizon.
What about the other planets?
What about them?
What are
I mean,
they
we can see
also
'em, yeah,
round,
right.
or what's up with that?
Well, they are round, yeah,
But they're
for sure.
flattened.
They're round, yeah. We can both agree that they're round.
Yeah.
But does round mean spherical?
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
Well, then
Right.
how do we? I mean,
How do you know they're spherical if you haven't seen the backside of them, and then maybe getting a good?
we have seen the back. We've seen the backside of the moon.
We have. What's this we stuff? Like, you guys want to let me in on this we stuff?
Well, I mean, people have sent like space expeditions to go there.
Oh, okay. So did we see on the backside of the moon these space alien bases that are supposed to be there too, or
I mean,
did they like Photoshop it?
No, but
There's
a bunch
no
of
evidence.
our research that we've actually worked on, the Earth Science Department here is on a shuttle mission up there. So,
Okay, yeah, I plan
That
on going
data
to check
that we
out
have-
Robert at 7:00.
we don't know much about. We're not. That's all.
we
Astronomy
deal with
and
stuff on
physics.
this planet.
Yeah,
Sure.
we're what's
That's
below
good.
our feet.
That's good. So, like, when you think of Earth, what do you think of?
A big sphere.
Okay, something maybe like this guy.
Yeah.
Did you know that the 1927 Universal Pictures was using the globe model? Isn't that kind of weird? They never actually found out that it was a sphere until possibly the early 60s, late 50s.
That's no.
Well,
the
that's-
ancient Greeks
that's-
figured
yeah,
out it was
Did they?
spherical. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this is possibly
Plato.
new information.
Yeah,
Could
they-
you- what is it?
So I don't remember the name of the guy exactly. but
Aristophanes, maybe? I'm just kind of shooting back
Probably.
here. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe I don't remember the name, but essentially they dug wells in two different places and used the sunlight to measure the sphericity.
Curiosity, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
sure. And how far is the sun from the Earth? Because you would have to know that, right, to be able
It's
to do
like
that?
what 95, 96 million miles, something like that.
Close, yeah,
Yeah.
93 million miles?
93, yeah.
Did you know that
Give or
that's
take.
changed since then?
It
Yeah,
changes
over time.
constantly due to Milankovitch cycles.
Okay, sure, okay. So when you think about flat Earth, what do you picture in your mind? Flat Earth.
Honestly, I've never thought about it.
Yeah, I
So,
can't.
yeah, right?
I can't picture.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there are a couple of ideas out there that the Earth is a level, motionless plane. That's what I think. It just
Right.
goes on infinitely.
Yeah.
Just more shorelines.
So then, how does the water not fall off the edge?
What
like in
edge?
the oceans.
What edge are you
Well, then-
referring to?
Well, there have to be an edge if there's.
Oh, so you're saying like water would just drip off?
Yeah.
Like
Is it
a
is it
disc?
is it a finite sphere
Or even
or
if
is
it's
it infinite?
square.
Infinite.
Okay, so then how's there?
I feel like it could be infinite. I mean, we just can't traverse that far because we do have a local sun,
Yeah.
so that could be just circling above us instead of us are the ones that are moving.
So then you're saying there's a zone of darkness outside.
Possibly, I haven't seen it. There is an alleged ice wall
Okay.
that a story of a guy named Admiral Byrd
Yeah.
said that he saw it as a belt of ice around, maybe 60,000 miles in circumference, a la Captain Cook.
Did they travel that whole circumference?
Yeah,
Or-
it took Captain Cook allegedly just over 3 years to do so, and it was about 60,000 miles.
Do you know what time frame that was? Or was?
That's just all hearsay, really. I mean, it's just a story. I'm not there to verify it. Right?
That's fair.
So, but an idea that the flat Earth is a disc floating in outer space on turtle shells, right? It's kind of not really what most real, genuine flat Earthers would prescribe to. So,
Okay, so then let me ask you about the other planets. Then are they also circular and flat?
okay, so that's your logic: is if the Earth is flat, then everything else has to be flat, right?
Well,
Or vice versa,
what
right?
I've been
Right,
gathering.
yeah.
from what you're
Yeah,
saying.
no, totally. And I get that because that's what we're taught and shown, that we have spherical objects in the sky floating above us. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they are, round in disc shape.
So
There's
what-
just
they-
lights in the sky.
That's how we see them through telescopes.
Right,
and stuff,
exactly.
is in a
So
circular
how
shape,
are why are they just lights in the sky? Like what's been put up? Like what leads you to believe that?
Well, I would say that there's possibly a ceiling above us, like a firmament,
Yeah.
possibly, you know, like a glass ceiling, because, you know, air has to be contained, right, in a container. So if we live in an enclosed system and we're shooting rockets up to the, quote, moon or to Mars, and we're sending probes out there, then that breaks the second law of thermodynamics. Because then that would assume that there's some kind of a gradient between us and up above, where the air just gets thinner and thinner.
There is.
And then all of a sudden you can just be in outer space. But how is that possible when a high pressure system is next to a low pressure system?
Well, because of gravity. Gravity
Of course.
holds all of the...
I was waiting for you to
Yeah, there you
bring
go.
that
All
up.
right, so how am I not floating off into space then?
Well, we live in a pressurized system, right? That's just my idea of it, and some people could probably attest to that. So we're just way more than the air around us, and everything is equaling its equilibrium. So that's why things fall to the ground. They could be electromagnetically brought to the ground, because that's where everything comes from, whereas helium rises, right?
Yeah.
So this paper card,
Yeah.
no magnetic material in it whatsoever,
Yep.
would be magnetically attracted to the ground.
Well, it's falling because the air around it is less dense than the piece of paper.
But if there's
So,
no...
but I see how you think about my testimony with flat Earth, though. That's a shame. I mean, you could
Well,
have used your bottle, right?
Well, no, but
Okay.
this
It was
metal
just
in here is
in my
I
hand.
know. I'm
Yeah.
just giving you a hard time.
Yeah.
You know, this is a serious topic, you know, in other places, but, you know, just try to give some
So
brevity
then,
to it.
how do you define density or weight without gravity?
Well, you can weigh things, right?
Yeah, but that's gravity is the weight of something is the density times the force due to gravity. Weight is a force
Okay.
because
well,
F equals ma. So the force of gravity is the mass of whatever it is. So the mass of this card times.
yeah, and I don't disagree that things fall to the ground. But what gravity is, nobody really knows what it is. I mean, nobody knows what gravity is. I mean, if you want to picture a string that you're just flinging around, at what point does that terminal velocity get to a point where the string doesn't exist anymore and it's just orbiting? That's where you come into the different kinds of gravity, right? You have Newtonian and you have Einsteinian, mass attracting mass or bending of space-time. So what are we talking about?
Well, they're both. That's the whole question that we haven't solved yet, is how you link those two things together.
Right. So just for argument's sake, to humor me, right?
All right.
Maybe for a couple of days since we've talked, it's fresh in your mind. Don't think about gravity and just think of the Earth as being a level, motionless plane, and we live in some sort of an electromagnetic type of environment where the higher you go, the more electricity that there is above us, and we live in a pressurized system. Kind of a, you know.
So then my question would be,
Yeah.
why? Like, why is this being hidden from us? Like, why wouldn't this
Is
be...
it being hidden?
Well, why would...
This is not what we're being taught at the school we go to.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally
But
understand where you're coming
exactly.
from. Yeah.
Why? Like, why is the predominant train of thought, globe Earth and what we're taught in school, what's in textbooks, what research shows, and like all the data that's collected by scientists? What happens to that? Like, why is that being put upon us instead of the truth or flat Earth? Or...
Well, unfortunately, people just carry on with theories and ideas, and then they put that theory here, and then they kind of expound on it without really connecting themselves back to reality. And NASA and some CIA documents, which I'll share in this video, do show plainly that they calculate when they have an airplane that it's on a level, motionless, non-spitting plane. Like, they literally say that verbatim. NASA documents say that. So this place in our reality has to tell on itself.
But then what
There's
about
a
all the...
hermetic idea to it.
What about all the NASA
So you
data?
have to search for it.
True, but what about all the NASA data that says the opposite and says that peer-reviewed surveys and things that are out in the literature that say that
Okay,
we do
you
live
have
on
to
a
show
globe,
that
right?
peer-reviewed stuff. I mean, because right now that's just hearsay.
Well,
right?
obviously, but
Yeah.
have you seen any of that before?
I've seen them do Cavendish tests and whatnot, and some people get similar results to what was done before in some guy's shed. Other people get not so similar, and other people get completely opposite results. So there's inconsistencies with that, you know. So that mass attracting mass idea doesn't really hold water unless you're walking this way and walking this way, and neither of you two can decide who's going left or right, and you almost run into each other. That's mass attracting mass, right? I think it's fun to think about, but you know what I'm saying. You know,
All right,
it's
all
just-
right.
It's a theory, my man.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Just kind of change gears.
Mhm.
Do you know how seismic waves work, like earthquakes and stuff?
I have a general idea, yeah. But
Okay,
that doesn't
so-
prove we live on a sphere, though. So.
Well,
see, here's
here
my
we go.
argument.
Yeah, shoot, man.
So, what people have done is to so scientists have discovered that the Earth has different layers to it, so different shells on the spherical model that I'm going by.
Yeah, no problem.
And so sound travels through stuff like air pretty easily, like you can hear me pretty well, but if we were talking underwater, my voice would be muffled because it would distort the sound waves. So what scientists have done is they've shot sound waves essentially through the Earth's crust and watched it change as it goes through different portions of the spherical layers.
Yeah, sure. I understand where you're coming from.
And so they've been getting like density and other sorts of like calculations from that.
Okay.
Which I mean they like map
And?
it, so there's it's a sphere because it'll change and refract in different ways as it moves through different layers.
Okay. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Do you happen to know the radius and into the middle of the core of this alleged sphere? Do you happen to know it?
6,400
62 to 6,400, somewhere in there.
kilometers. Yeah.
Okay. So just for layman's terms, that would be about 4,000 miles then?
Yeah, give or take.
Okay, sure. And then, do you happen to know how deep human beings have allegedly drilled into the
Coal a
Earth?
borehole, several
Yeah.
thousand. Do you know why it's not possible to go any deeper?
For a pretty good idea, but yeah,
What-
please.
Well, here, you go. What were you gonna expand on that? Because obviously, I'm assuming you're bringing up that.
Well, I'm bringing that up because he was explaining how they're able to see the center of this Tootsie Pop that we live on, when only we're able to drill about 8 miles into the Earth.
Yeah, true.
So,
It's like an ultrasound.
yeah,
It's like
I
an
see where you're
ultrasound
coming
here.
from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Do you know what the thermal gradient on going down into the Earth is? So how hot it heats up as you go down?
I would assume probably a couple thousand Celsius, maybe?
It's about 1.5 Celsius a kilometer
Okay.
going down.
That's in the mantle. It's
That is.
20. It's 25 degrees Celsius per kilometer in the crust.
Okay.
So they haven't even that drill hole is still solidly in the crust and has not gone.
Okay.
Far
So,
as that.
so the bits actually warm up so hot
They
that
melt
they can't.
completely.
Yeah.
It's hot past the limits of their metals you're using for that.
And so then that's where you get into the seismic frequencies.
Well, because you can't drill, you have to use seismics.
Okay.
Wait
So
a-
then there's a lot of presuppositions that can go on from there, right?
How so?
I mean, it can kind of fantasize about what may or may not be down there, right? Since you can't really physically go down there, right? Kind of like what people claim the sun is.
Well, yeah, but you can do seismic seismic measurements on the Earth, and then you can go to the lab and do more seismic measurements, see how waves travel through different materials, and then compare them the same, and that's what's down there. So they've done with the mantle. They know it's like peridotite and gabbro and whatnot because.
And they can do these tests actually right over in that building
Yeah, I
on
bet.
surface level. In
Yeah.
they can simulate the temperature and pressure conditions in the center of the Earth.
Sure.
And actually, we have a really interesting program that I believe will actually be talked to the Van Vleck lecture tonight, where we actually have planetary geologists here recreating conditions in the center of meteorites and other planets. And we've been able to create results right over at that laboratory where they subject, they take basically a pressurized chamber that produces a force onto an object that creates temperatures that be similar at the center of other planets they model. I don't have an example, like a
Yeah,
name,
that's fine.
obviously.
Yeah.
But they're able to take the data that recorded, or that they get in the lab using conditions, and it matches up very well, if not perfectly, towards seismic data and other data taken by probes and craft that have orbited those planets as well.
Yeah. I'm not surprised, that they can create an algorithm and math magic to do so. But that's kind of why I'm here. I'm just here to challenge people in their beliefs, because a lot of what you're kind of saying, no offense, sounds like religious, speak, where you're kind of being an apologist for a lot of things that you can't yourself verify.
Now that you brought up religion,
So,
I want to go back here a second
Yeah.
to your filament that you had when you had your images up in the sky. and you said that were you saying that things are being projected?
Oh,
Up?
no, not at all.
No?
No.
So then what do you think those are up there in the sky? Like
I think they're lights in the firmament, which may or may not be water.
And how is it put up there?
I believe that there's a creator, personally. Now, we might disagree on what that creator is, that's fine.
Well, the last person that told me that there was things up in the sky put there by a creator was my mother, who mentally and physically abused me for 8 years based on the words
don't bring
of
that
a
up.
creator.
Well,
Don't bring that up.
apologize.
Alright. We're gonna go eat.
So, yeah.
We're gonna go eat. It was nice to talk to you.
When's
When's this gonna be up?
Can I possibly... Do you have an email? Like, I
I got
would...
all my contact information.
Is it all on YouTube here?
Yeah.
Because I would honestly love to send you like papers that have been produced even here at the U that has like that data, and then just see what you think. I mean,
Yeah, no, definitely. And I'll share it with the Commonwealth of Flat Earth. There's also on YouTube a 24/7 Flat Earth conversation going on right now that you can check out.
Cool. Do you know when this video is gonna be up?
I hope to put it together maybe like Friday or
awesome. Cool. We'll check out your channel. I actually really want to see it.
Yeah,
Thank you.
guys.
Take it easy.
Have a good afternoon. Oh yeah, hey, you guys know what that is right there?
The fucking chemtrail above us?
I don't know, man. You said it, not me, right? Yep, there she is. I'll show y'all. This is what we've been getting inundated with all day today. Right there for you. So whatever you want to call that, it's up to you, but you know. Hey, miss.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thanks. It's a beautiful day on flat Earth.
It is.
Yeah. Do you happen to know what that is above you there? Yeah, well, you should look up. It's a chemtrail. You're being sprayed like insects. How does it make you feel? How's it going, man? Hey, fellas, how you doing?
Good.
All right. It's a beautiful day on flat Earth. How you doing, bud? Cheers. How you doing? Yeah, good. Someday you'll be able to drink cold coffee, right? How you doing, bud?
Thanks.
All right. Not a whole lot, man. You look like a reasonably smart guy. Something like that. So check it out. Don't get catfished. Go Detroit. Huh? Here's a flat. Hey fellas, check out Flat Earth. How you doing, bud? Never landed on the moon, all right? Didn't happen. Hey fellas, how you doing?
How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing pretty well. Do you happen to know how the phases of the moon are caused? No? Yeah, why would you, right? Up north, Minnesota. Right on. Never landed on the moon, bud. Didn't happen.
Yeah. And so last weekend I went back home.
Yeah, thank you.
How you doing, fellas?
Good, how are you?
Can't complain, thanks. It's a beautiful day. Yeah, nice. Yeah. The earth is flat, all right?
You still have the mining building that was down?
Oh, there's the moon.
Hey, sir, how you doing?
I'm good, yourself?
Can't complain. Never landed on the moon, all right? How y'all doing? Good.
Love living on the globe.
Yep, I'm sure you do. Never landed on the moon, okay?
Good idea.
Yep. Gravity doesn't exist. How you doing, bud? Good. All right. Water lays level, doesn't turn into a ball. Check out Flat Earth, all right, guys? In your free time. How you doing, bud? Complete information? Thanks. You're not all right if you think you live in a ball. How you doing? All right. Is the moon a physical object to be landed on? Yeah, you're smarter than that, bud. How you doing, bud? All right. Is the moon a physical object to be landed on? Yeah, of course not. So why do you think the Earth is a ball? How you doing?
Hi.
You want to roll your eyes, O'Brien? Come talk to me for 10 minutes. Yeah, you laugh now, bud. How you guys doing?
Sorry,
Well,
we're in a...
It's all good. Just know that the Earth is flat, level, motionless plane. The universe is a painting. She had, what's his face on her shirt. How you doing, man? Right on, man. Maybe you could explain to me how water can conform to the exterior of a ball. How does water bend without using gravity? Looks like you two are racing. I'm gonna put my money on the girl on the left. She's got a good lead. How you doing?
Hey, good. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks. Google Dome Earth. Dome Earth, yeah, check it out. Hey fellas, how you doing?
Alright.
Alright, go Bikes.
Go Bites.
Yeah, we'll see you at the Final Four on Saturday, huh?
No, I don't think so.
Alright, well I'll be there talking about Flat Earth. How you doing, man? I'm doing well, thanks. The moon is not a physical object to be landed on. Think about it. That guy has hair like that band, Never Gonna Give You Up. That's what he was sporting.
We're no strangers to love. You know the rules, and so do I.
How you doing? Right on, man. Is the Earth flat or a sphere? It is. Maybe you could provide me with two proofs that you know it's a sphere. Yeah, I mean you feel pretty confident that it's a sphere, right?
Like every planet is sphere. So
Okay.
Why shouldn't Earth?
Okay, and you have another one?
Yeah, also this shadow of the Earth on the moon is also a sphere.
Okay, shadow of the Earth on the moon.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Is that what causes the phases? Okay. I'd have to say that's incorrect. Well, that's not mainstream of how the moon phases are caused. The Earth has nothing to do with it. It's your perspective on Earth. I know you missed it. I got my card. You can be on YouTube.
That's okay.
All right. Well, he's trying to be sneaky and take a picture. So those are your two proofs. So everything
Just
like
something that I can think. Yeah, I'm not an expert in
okay.
astrophysics or anything.
You don't have to be actually.
Yeah, so
But you would say like what you see up in the sky proves that you live on a sphere? Is that something we could agree
not
upon?
necessarily. Like, where does gravity come from if the Earth is flat?
Well, gravity comes from magic. Like that's just an idea. That's not necessarily proof. It's still a theory. It's kind of like what they say, kind of the best they've come up with. When there could be possible other reasons why things fall to the ground. What is gravity? Do you happen to know?
Like, based on what I know from physics, it comes from general relativity.
Okay.
Yeah, like I can't wrap my head around Earth being flat.
Okay. So it sounds like a pun. Wrap your head around a sphere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, check it out. Just an idea that water always lays level and flat. At no time will you ever see it bend. You know, you could probably rub your head with a balloon, right?
No, like in space it gets sphere.
Okay, you've been to space?
I haven't, but it is. Why shouldn't it be sphere? Like in space, like if we get away from the Earth, there is no gravity.
How do you do
Agree on
that? No, we can't agree on that because that's a place that you or I can't go to, right? Have you
Why?
been there?
I haven't. Other people have.
Okay, so just for argument's sake, if you're taking someone else's testimony of a place that they've been to and you haven't, and you can't because of resources and money, would you say that's faith?
Yeah, you could call it faith.
Okay.
But why should I take your word?
I don't want you to.
So,
That's just it, right? I mean, I'm trying to say that here on Earth, we can observe the Earth as being level and motionless and not spinning. So what if it was possible that the sun, the moon, and the lights in the sky that we call stars move for us, and they're just more like a clock in times and seasons, and not a place that we can physically go to? Is that possible?
yeah, but like everything you say is again like magical stuff.
Well, it's
like
not magic, because we
like-
can here observe water laying level and flat over a distance. So at what point does it start to turn
Why,
into a
like-
sphere?
Why does the water wax and wane?
I'm sorry?
Wax and wane of water, tides,
Yeah,
water.
mhm.
Like how does that go?
Well, there could be a couple of ideas. I would think that it might be the Earth is kind of, quote, breathing and giving off in the center of it fresh water, and then the other water goes somewhere that, you know, we can't really explain. But to say that it's the moon, right?
Yeah.
To say it's the moon is kind of, you know, grasping at straws, because that's not 100% all the time.
So yeah, have you seen those things?
I've seen tides, yeah.
No, have you seen Earth freezing or those things?
I've seen tides go up and down in areas in a time lapse over a period of a couple days.
So yeah, don't you think it is more reasonable to see moon has gravity, like everything is sphere and has gravity?
No, there's no way to identify the moon as a sphere when we only see one side of it, right? It's a disk in the sky, it's not necessarily a sphere.
Not necessarily. Like other. What about other planets?
What about them? Why are you so worried about what's above us instead of what's down here?
Because you are saying everything is like. So
I'm just saying the Earth is flat. Why do you think? Why can't the things in the things in the sky are spheres?
Either you spend money yourself and go, if you don't believe other people,
Mhm.
you make your own rocket and go
Mhm.
out of the.
Yeah, the
Earth.
military owns the sky, so you can't do that.
Cannot.
No, you can't do that. The military owns
No,
the sky.
Normal people can go to space if you have. the
No, they
money.
can't. They need approval by the FAA to do so. Even to go higher than a mile with a drone, you have to talk to the FAA. Did you know that?
Then talk to them.
Well, you can't. That's not how things work, my friend. Here.
Okay, so So if we cannot go in the space, we have to observe other things that are in space.
Why can't we observe things here in our natural reality, of objective reality?
Okay, so I'm from the other side of the Earth.
Okay,
So
you're on the other.
How do you?
You're on the other side of the plane, but yeah.
So how do you explain time zones? When
Want to chat, sir? All right. I'd probably blow that tobacco right out of your pipe there, bud.
How are we being catfished by that?
Well, you believe that you live here, right?
Well, what?
Reasonably, right?
Paper, no.
Right. But for argument's sake, this is a picture allegedly of the Earth from space, right?
Yeah.
So if you believe that you live there and then you've never seen the Earth in outer space from that vantage point, you're believing an image, and that's being catfished.
Actually, I don't, because I believe in geometry.
Okay, so math creates reality.
You can prove that the Earth is round by looking at the variation of shadows from sticks a distance apart. This was done by the ancient Greeks.
Yeah, Aristophanes. That's a presupposition that the sun is 93 million miles away, right? We can also do that with the local sun.
Really boiled.
We can do that with the local sun and closer. So, well, yeah, I'm sure, but
How do you explain time zones?
how do you explain water not conforming to the exterior of a shape? That's how you get a sphere. So let's stick to what objective reality we can see,
So
right?
no, I would argue that water takes the form of a sphere if there is no external force to it.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though you've never seen that here in our objective reality. So if I have a bottle of water and I dump it, is it going to just turn into a ball, or is it going to go onto the ground?
There is gravity onto it, and you say that you cannot go to space. So if you could,
Neither can you. So
yes,
that's
so
faith, right?
You cannot disprove my theory.
That's unfair though, because now you're basing your whole life on faith that gravity is real.
No.
And I'm just trying to help you just kind of maybe
you're saying
reconsider.
gravity is not real?
I'm saying that the phenomenon of things falling to the ground isn't a bungee cord pulling things to the ground, an imaginary bungee cord. Things just fall to the ground because they weigh more than the air around them. There's also electromagnetics that are possible. No, can't be.
So it
Couldn't
is
be that,
actually
huh?
true that gravity is not a bungee cord that drop things to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It is not, because it is.
What if it's a pushing? What if we live in an enclosed environment that's pressurized, and that's just why things fall to the ground?
Pressure or what?
Well, we can't go to outer space, so there has to be a container, right? Because if there's a gradient between the two, that breaks the second law of thermodynamics, right?
You could assume that there is a balloon around the Earth that is pressurizing the...
It's not a balloon, though, my friend. It's a level, motionless plane that possibly goes on infinitely, with the ceiling above us.
Where does it end?
Why does it have to end? Why do you limit your mind from having it end? Why can't things just infinitely go on?
It could.
I mean, I'm just saying, right?
It could, yeah.
Doesn't the globe-
I'm totally open to the idea of it going to the end, but it just...
What if there are no ends? Nobody has measured it.
So I flew on a plane
Sure.
from the one side of the Earth to here.
Okay, so maybe all you did is just went from here to here, right?
Okay, and if you continue...
On a plane.
So if you go on a plane...
Mm-hmm.
Go straight. Keep going straight on a plane.
Yep.
You go turn around the Earth.
How would you do that though? Would you have a compass?
I could have a compass. You could do it in a different way.
Okay. So yes, could we agree upon using a compass with what we would consider magnetic north?
Yeah.
Right. So really, what you would be doing is here's the center,
So you're
north,
saying,
and if you're following the compass, all you're doing is this. You're just going in a circle.
or you could have something that just goes straight without using a compass.
Okay, then you would just go straight into nothingness then. On Earth, where there is still land and water below you, not outer space.
I do not believe in that.
It's just not something...
Let's agree that you say the North Pole, you say North Pole changes. It always points towards...
I'm just saying that if we were to use a compass, right?
Okay.
And we were to have that as our guide.
Okay, have, like, 10 planes, 10
Mhm.
airplanes,
Sure.
go at 10 different directions.
Mhm.
Go straight with whatever compass that you want to use.
Sure. Okay.
I go this way, another person goes that way.
Going the opposite of north.
Yes,
Okay.
if you do it accurately in a straight way, everyone should turn around the earth and go back to the same place.
Okay.
But
That's an
can-
assumption because you live on a ball.
If it is a sphere, that should happen, and you could totally do that. You don't need to go to
Okay.
space, and I think people have done it.
Okay.
before,
Could I
so-
present you with another idea?
Sure.
Okay. So if I was to take 3 right turns, would I end up where I'm back?
You have to take 4 right.
Okay, so if I go here, take a right, and I go down here, take a right, and I go here, take a right, and then I take another one, right? Okay.
So yeah, if you
So I
take
would end up
4
here.
rights, yeah.
Okay. So does that mean I'm on a sphere or I'm still on a level plane? Because I'm just going around the block then, right?
So you are assuming that you can go take
Okay.
4 rights.
So that's circumnavigation, right?
So no, so I understand what your point is.
Mhm.
If you take 4 rights and your compass shows north as the same center there, like in the middle of that square,
Sure.
you turn around on a
Okay.
flat plane.
Okay.
But if another person goes that way, they have to take another square, and center of that square is in another point.
Okay.
And you can, so therefore, a compass cannot show north both that way and this way.
Well, this is just a thought experiment, right?
No,
Just like you were using the 10 airplanes, right?
yeah,
Okay. So just the circumnavigation idea can be done both on a sphere and on a flat plane, right? So that's some kind of like comparing between what can be done on both.
I don't understand. Like, let's assume that we have this flat plane,
Mhm.
and I go straight,
Uh-huh.
and you say if the Earth was flat and I would go straight, I would
Yeah.
turn around and come back. But you
No, you
say
wouldn't. Why would you do that? Do you think that the Earth would be a floating disk in outer space then? Like you
it's
could
not a
get under?
floating disk; it's a floating sphere.
No, it's not.
So
You've
you-
never seen it before.
So you are saying it is not. So you provide me with the evidence. that
Water doesn't bend ever
water
on a
does
massive scale. No, it doesn't, my friend.
bend. How? Why do you say it doesn't bend on a
Because
massive-
with laser observations over 10 miles, there should be 60 to 70 feet of curvature. So you have to have
you done
curvature
this?
to
have
have.
you done that yourself?
You have to have curvature to have a
So-
sphere, right?
So I haven't done that experience, but have you done it?
So what I'm trying to provide you with is that with a sphere, you need curvature, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if we were given the circumference of this ball, do you happen to know the circumference of this Earth that you believe you live on?
I think it was around 30,000 miles.
Close, yeah, 24,901.
Okay.
Okay, and then the radius is just under 4,000 miles.
Okay.
Okay, so there should be a curvature calculation that we could use,
Sure. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And it's good within a couple hundred miles, 8 inches per mile squared, for example.
Sure.
Okay, so over a body of water, do you think that we should be able to see things from 100 miles away over a body of water?
I have to do the math myself, but yeah,
I encourage you to do
haven't-
so.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not here to try to convince you of anything. I'm just provoking your thought, right?
Okay.
And it's-
I'm open. Yeah, that's
yeah.
why I'm talking to you.
Sure, I
I'm
appreciate you
open to
stopping, man.
talking to you.
Yeah, what's your name?
I'm Sina.
Sina?
Yeah. Nice to
Joshua.
meet you.
Yeah, pleasure to meet you too, man. I just, I'm here just to kind of share that, a lot of people believe in outer space and whatnot, and that could be kind of a faith-based religion because they can't verify a lot of the stuff themselves. So they take books and scientists' testimony as gospel, for example, and they just roll with that. And they assume things that people are smarter than them have done it, right? So then they just defer and then they go to watch football games. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
So
What do you believe in?
what do I believe in?
Yeah.
I believe in truth, my friend.
So yes, but where do you get your truth from? So are you saying that everyone should do everything for themselves to believe in them?
I feel confident that every person should have critical thought and
Sure, yeah.
step back and not take everything that's given to us by mainstream news, media, and so on as gospel.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, but this is just basic science.
It is basic science that water never curves and bends to create a sphere in our reality.
Yeah, it's just There is a small possibility that you are right.
I don't want to be right, man.
No. I am saying
I
no.
don't.
I'm saying
Mhm.
there is a small possibility that if you change everything that like a lot of the things that we have been fed so far is wrong, or just there's a good chance that everything that they have taught is right. You are wrong. So
Sure, yeah. What if this place, like this reality that you and I live on, human beings, right? What if this place has to kind of like tell on itself, and there is information out there available to show that we live on a level motionless plane by maybe the government or NASA, and it's out there, but they're not necessarily promoting it. It's something that you have to search for yourself. Is that possible?
Sure.
Okay, and then the kind of maybe the assumption that they're shooting rockets up is just your presupposition that that's where they're going, is to outer space, but they're not necessarily claiming it per se, because when you see rockets going into their third stage, right, it turns all of a sudden into a cartoon.
So yeah, but why should all the major countries, like why should the US, Russia, Europeans, Japanese, why should they
Good, man. Cheers.
why should they claim that the Earth is sphere? What is it meant for?
Well, on Earth, right, like this, is there something we could agree upon, that there's only so much land and water that's available for every human being?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, what if even just for argument's sake, this was true representation of where we live, but they just hid the land from us, and they kind of just compartmentalize us into these cities, and we're not allowed to go explore because we need government approval.
Yeah, it's kind of sci-fi-ish, but it is possible.
Okay, so I mean, it kind of takes away a person's urge to explore, right?
Okay.
If we're given all this stuff within 5 miles of where we live, why would anybody want to leave, right?
So far I've come from the other side of the world, so
Sure.
it is possible to move around.
Okay,
So,
but those flights only go to where there's other airports, right?
yeah, so you are saying there are... Yeah, I understand what you're
I
saying.
mean, you're not gonna like veer off, right?
So yeah, there is a big conspiracy to keep everything that we have in this world here, and there is another world like a few miles away, and they are totally isolated, and the big minds are keeping them separate. Sure.
You said it, not me. Thanks.
So no, it is
Is it
possible.
possible? Okay.
But it is very hard to believe in that.
Mhm. One thing I would
So
encourage
yeah,
you to do.
you could totally believe in sci-fi and fantasy movies and stuff. They are possible, I guess, but
Well, I
they-
would say I believe in sci-fi movies that have to do here on Earth. Like when I watch movies about outer space, right now where I'm at in my mindset, I know that that's fantasy, and what they're doing is just projecting drama in an environment that doesn't really exist. But then them doing it in a space environment just reinforces the idea that outer space is real to
so
the common folk.
I understand. So I haven't done all these experiences myself, but
Sure.
a lot of the basic physics and math that they have taught us in school, we have done experiments. Like I know about them,
Okay.
and they have been true. So I really doubt that they would make something of this big.
Okay. Can I just encourage you with something?
Sure.
Let me ask you: do you feel like you're a good person?
Yes, so
Do you go out of your way to lie? Like, would you intentionally lie to somebody?
intentionally, everyone lies at some point.
At some
so,
point, right?
yeah.
Okay, so could I just encourage you that not to project your own personal moral standard and code on other people that you've never met before who are part of the military? Because maybe they are withholding stuff, and that maybe not even intentionally. Maybe they think that they're protecting in terms of like national security, and so you need to do this because it's for national security, but then it's really the underlying reason is to deceive.
So yeah,
I mean, that's all I'm saying. You know, you don't necessarily have to. Just because you feel like you're a good person, that doesn't mean other people are always good.
yeah,
right?
no, I understand. My point is about that science part.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
for example, I believe in like Newton's laws of physics, like
Okay.
3 laws.
Sure.
He also has the law for gravity that you disagree with, but it very well explains how things in the space move around.
Mhm.
But you don't agree with that, and you say they're just, I don't know,
Yeah.
they're just what you see, but they're not real or something like that.
Well, I mean, there could be an underlying agenda that happened hundreds of years ago before you and I were even thought of, right? And then we're born into this reality with the presupposition that we live on a ball, right?
Sure, yeah,
So
there are
there are a
ideas
lot of
that,
ideas.
like, yeah, there are ideas like we are simulations in supernatural creatures and
Sure.
things like that. So yeah, there are a lot of ideas,
Mhm.
but I don't have any reasons to believe in them. Like, I cannot prove those things, but
Yeah.
so far I don't, like, the things that I know of, I have done experiments on. So yeah, but yeah, something to think about.
Cheers, man. Have a good walk out there. See you
Thank
see you
you.
around.